I never believed in arranged marriages. To me, love was supposed to be spontaneous, sparked by chemistry, laughter, and late-night conversations, not a list of family approvals and joint bank accounts. So when my parents told me they wanted me to meet Karan, I resisted hard. They described him as responsible, respectful, and stable, all things that, at the time, I thought translated to boring. I was still clinging to the idea of passion, fire, the kind of love that makes your heart race, not your mind rest. But out of guilt and a bit of curiosity, I agreed to meet him, just once. He showed up early, wore a plain white shirt, polite, calm, measured. He spoke like someone who thought before he spoke, not like the spontaneous thrill seekers I was used to. We talked over coffee, about books, goals, family, nothing wild, nothing dramatic. I told myself, see, boring. But something strange happened. After that meeting, I kept thinking about him, not in a head-over-heels way, more like a quiet presence that lingered, like a song that gets stuck in your head, not because it's loud, but because it's steady. He texted the next day, asking how I was. No pressure, no flirting, just genuine care. We met again, then again. Over time, his calmness became comforting. His predictability felt like security. And slowly, my heart, always chasing chaos, began to crave peace. Then came the turning point. I fell sick. Nothing serious, but I was bedridden for a few days. My phone barely rang except for his name. Morning check-ins, midday messages, evening calls. He even had groceries delivered to my door. That week, I realized this man wasn't loud about his love, but it was there, strong, steady, real. Months passed, and my opinion of love began to change. No more chasing highs and ignoring red flags. No more mistaking drama for romance. The day he proposed, it wasn't in a grand gesture. No fancy dinners, no viral moments. Just the two of us, on a park bench, with him saying, I know I may not be the kind of love you imagined, but I'll be the kind you can count on. And I said yes, because the love I tried so hard to avoid became the one I couldn't imagine life without. He taught me that sometimes, love doesn't arrive like a storm. It comes like the sunrise, quiet, gentle, but once it's there, you wonder how you ever lived in the dark. After I said yes, everything changed, and yet, everything stayed just as steady. There were no grand changes overnight, no fireworks or whirlwind romance. But there was something even better, consistency. Karan was still the same man I met at that cafe. Still calm, still thoughtful, still someone who made me feel safe. Wedding preparations began. My friends teased me, saying I had finally settled down. But deep inside, I realized I hadn't settled for anything. I had chosen something real, something lasting. Karan never overwhelmed me with dramatic gestures. Instead, he brought me calm in chaos. On days I felt stressed about the wedding, he'd noticed before I even said a word. One time, I was buried in planning calls and vendor emails. He showed up not with flowers or chocolates, but with a spreadsheet of everything I had on my plate, color-coded, organized, and ready to tackle. That was Karan. He didn't sweep me off my feet, he helped me stand stronger on them. And I began to realize something else. Love isn't just about butterflies and fireworks. It's about showing up every single day. It's when he waited patiently while I cried over an old heartbreak I never told anyone about. It's when he knew exactly when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. It's when he sat with my parents for tea, listened to their stories, and respected them, not because he had to but because he genuinely cared. But still, a part of me held back. The part that wondered, what if this love is too quiet, too simple? What if I needed more passion, more spark? That question lingered until the night before our wedding. I was nervous, not because I doubted him but because I doubted myself. Was I capable of loving someone this kind, this stable? I texted him, "Are you awake?" He replied instantly, "Always for you." We met outside, under the stars, no makeup, no filters, just us. I looked at him and asked, "Why me? When I tried so hard to push you away?" He smiled gently and said, "Because even when you were running, I saw where your heart wanted to stay." That night, I didn't just fall in love. I trusted love. We got married in a small ceremony, surrounded by people who genuinely cared about us. No drama, no chaos, just joy, laughter, peace. Today, when I look at him across the dinner table, when he makes me tea without asking, when he listens to my wild ideas, without judgment, I'm reminded of how I almost missed this. How I almost walked away from the kind of love that doesn't shout, it whispers, that doesn't demand, it shows, that doesn't rush, it stays. And now, I finally understand. The love I tried to avoid became the one I can't imagine life without. Because real love doesn't always hit like a storm. Sometimes, it arrives like the sunrise, quiet, steady, and exactly what your soul needs. Thanks for watching. Please like and hit the subscribe button.